Welcome back to Discovering an Educated Life. This is Megan. Today I'm going to show you our homeschool curriculum we've been using this year, A Gentle Feast. This is Marvels, Machines, and Modern Times. I'm just going to tell you what this comes with. This is not going to be a complete overview, but I'm just going to kind of show you what's all included so you can get a really good idea. So this is going to have history topics. This is cycle 4 of all grades. It's American, World War I, the Great Depression, World War II, Modern Life in America, and 9/11. For grades 4 to 12, you're also going to cover British and world history, 1900 to present. And for grades 5 to 12, it's going to also have the ancient history, which is the early Middle Ages. We've been doing this now. We're on week 7. We're doing a January to December homeschool year, so we are not super far into this yet, but we've been enjoying it, so I just wanted to share it with you. So it's probably really intimidating to look at something like this if you're not familiar with Charlotte Mason's philosophy or any of her original volumes or how a Charlotte Mason education works. But these are going to be the forms, so that's going to correlate to the U.S. grades here. And if you are familiar with how Charlotte Mason's scheduling worked, then you're probably familiar with the PNEU forms. So this is how the A Gentle Feast forms would correlate to the PNEU, and also just if you're more familiar with just U.S. grade levels. So if you have a grade 1 to 3 student, they're going to be a Form 1 student. A grade 4 to 6 is going to be a Form 2. And so I have a 6th grade daughter who is a Form 2 student. Junior high level is going to be considered 7 to 9, Form 3, and then 10 to 12 is going to be Form 4 in senior high, which is a little different because a lot of times we don't consider a 9th grader, to be a junior high student. But for the purposes of A Gentle Feast, we do. And the only thing I would say about that is that Julie Ross does provide like certain resources for 9th graders, like 9th grade biology, a high school level, some maybe high school level language, like foreign language and things like that. So it's all there. I want to show you real quick though, before I dive super deep into this, on the back side of this, she has listed here the topics, but she also tells you those other subjects that are covered. And it's just natural history, geography, literature, foreign language, high school sciences, Shakespeare, and more. All of that's inside of here. And that's probably like almost intimidating to think like all of that's in here. Like how could that possibly be? And I'll show you. So she has different parts to the feast, and she talks about this. So we have morning time. That's the appetizer. And she talks about what morning time is, how long should it last, what should I purchase, things like that. Morning time is going to consist of different parts. It's going to consist of your hymn, poetry recitation. I'm trying not to spend too long on this. It's also going to consist of picture study, composer study, and fables, hero tales, a poet study. And then we move on to this. So our language arts time. This is the morning time book. This is its own thing, and this is the beauty loop. And all of that I was just talking about is contained in this. So it makes it really easy for you. So again, has our forms here. And this is going to have morning time. In morning time, we have Bible every day. The rest of this is going to be considered our beauty subjects, and we're on a loop for those, like we were just talking about. And I'll show you like an example of how she kind of sets that up for you. So this is our memory passage for the first term. There are 3 terms in a Charlotte Mason education, 12 weeks each. Week 12 is our exam week. So we will work on this for 12 weeks, and we will like test. I'm saying like I'm giving you air quotes there. It's not a real test when we do exams. It's not like she's gonna have to write this from memory. We will have her try to recite it from memory, but it's not something we're gonna like do a formal test on. So she has some plans here, term 1 plans, and these are all the plans. It probably looks really intimidating. I promise you it's not. You're not doing too much in a day. I'm gonna kind of try and show you what this might look like a day of it in my teacher's guide. That's very messy, but these are the plans. So you're gonna have just anything you can think of. There's Picasso, all the resources. George Gershwin, there's some vocab for that. There's all the poetry, the recitation for poetry. And this is just, now we're moving on to term 2 here. We're in the next set of hymns. I'm just kind of flipping through some things. So everything you need to cover that is in this book. It's really simple. I'm going to show you my planner to kind of show you how we do it. It's a little bit confusing, but when it comes to the soup and salad, let me grab my language arts book. She has it scheduled out to where you have copy work, dictation. You'll do copy work daily. At the end of the week, you'll do dictations. You'll do spelling 4 days a week. She just has a lot of information here on how to do that. Composition is built into the language arts books. Phonics is for the younger students. If you're older, you're going to be doing reading or literature. My daughter is on the literature stage. It says form 3 to 4, but she's really in more of a literature stage. Then we have a book talk when she finishes one of her books for literature, and there's some description of how to do that. We have grammar, and that's only once a week. That might not be enough for you. I do supplement with like Brain Quest workbooks. Sometimes we'll go a little deeper, and we also use another book called Grammarland. I think that's what it's called, but she schedules that, and I can show you how that is. Then we also do a weekly narration notebook, and she does a narration when she finishes a literature selection, and she types that. So that's another part. Main course we have here, that's the academic block. So you see everything's based like a feast. We do history. I'm not going to go into all of this. I can do individual subjects in a more detailed fashion later. I'm just kind of giving you an overview here. We're going to keep a book of centuries. We're going to do timelines. It talks about by form. So I have a form 2 student. I'll just zoom in here. Students will be studying American history. The readings are split over 2 days. Starting in 4th grade, students will add an additional stream of British history. Ancient history starts in 5th grade. Your Form 2 student may be able to read these texts independently and then narrate either orally or in writing. Students in this form will start a book of centuries in which they will record people, places, and events from their readings and draw pictures of artifacts from that time. So we do that. For geography, we are working on a book called The Occident, and we have a big map. We map that on. We also do a little bit more for geography, but if you're just strictly looking at our Gentle Feast, that's what we're doing this year is The Occident. For natural history, we have books that my daughter narrates for that. She's doing the Storybook of Science and a Christian Liberty Press Nature Reader for science in Form 2. In Form 1, you wouldn't do a formal science, you just do nature study. And in Form 2, you will start doing a science that she has created. And we're studying Marie Curie right now and chemistry with an older science book. And we also have a kitchen chemistry, and that'll last half the year. The second half of the year will be Rachel Carson and earth science. So a really good science, I think, age appropriate for 6th grade. And that could be used for anywhere from 4th to 8th grade. And the 9th graders would have biology. So there's singing included, there's Swedish drill or just play. I just have my daughter go outside and play. We don't do Swedish drill. I will sometimes find a YouTube video with something. I'm just not into it, but that option is there. Citizenship. We're currently working on a book. I think I even have it sitting here. So it's like a big old mess, but this is her citizenship book. And there's a lot of like research questions at the end of each section she's doing for that. And then, she does that once a week. We do foreign language. We are using Speaking Spanish with Miss Mason and Francois for foreign language. And that's how Julie Ross schedules it. And I really want to do a more in-depth video of all the subjects of how she breaks them down. Latin is supposed to be done with Compass Classroom this year, but we are not doing Latin because we just are diving back into a Gentle Feast. And then tea time the dessert is tea time. And you have poetry, read alouds, drawing, nature study. There are handicrafts. This time is like the fun time of the day. It's after lunch. We typically are done with all of our morning stuff by lunch. And there's a schedule with times in the back I can show you. And then she talks about, you want short lessons, you want varied lessons. You don't want the lessons to be like super, you don't want the lessons to be super time consuming, but you also don't want to do 3 books in a row. that kind of thing. And then you can combine for multiple children. She talks a little bit about that. So I'm not gonna do every single thing here. This is just so much information on how to do narration and different things for your vision and all kinds of stuff like that. So these are the books you need for different forms. And this is how a week looks. So we would have morning time, okay? Language arts. So I'm only focused on Form 2 because I just have one student. So I wrote in the like schedule for our morning time, and then we have our form. And then we have Form 2 again. So we have American, World History, and you see what I've checked. And you notice I didn't have to worry about this. This is a week worth, this is not a daily schedule. This is a week of material that I've checked off. And I'm pretty much just doing Form 2, okay? And you go from there. So there's all the terms are in here. And at the end of all of this, there's lots of other things that are useful in here. There are some sample schedules. So this is a sample schedule for Form 1. And these are the 5-day. And you create your own schedule. No one else is creating this for you. So if you want a 5-day schedule, this is your 5-day. And if you want a 4-day schedule, this is your 4-day. It's really straightforward and simple. And then there's Form 3 and there's Form 4. She does not recommend doing a 4-day for a Form 4 student. She says, you know, you're in high school, you need to be doing a 5-day schedule. So then she has some information on assessments and things like that in there. I'm not going to go through all of that. But with that language arts, I would like to show you really quickly. I'm not going to do a full flip through this, but just kind of give you an idea of what this is like. So for language arts, it has all the grammar, all the grammar covered. I believe that's what this page, all of the different things we're going to cover. Then there's daily copy work, there's spelling, the dictation, drawing and composition and grammar. So you'll see for week 1, my daughter's copy work was Teddy Roosevelt. She copied his inaugural address, or a portion of it. And that's what she did for week 1 in cursive. Then I picked words from his inaugural address for her to do for her spelling words for the week. And then she just covers the word, and then, sorry, my nails are like gross because I was planting flowers. So she covers the word, and then she's going to write it here. And if she spells it incorrectly, she's going to correct it, and then she's going to cover them again and do it again. And then each day, so she'll do this on Monday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, she's going to practice these words. And we have a multitude of ways we practice them, like a big, you know, we might use something as old school as shaving cream, or using something fun like sand, or maybe I have her do rainbow writing, or she paints them, or I put paint in a bag and she writes them, or she uses letter tiles. Sometimes I create word searches. I'm not going to go all the way into that today. I can do that on a later time, but then she has a drawing prompt. On a Gentle Feast website, there are links to usually Art Hub for Kids or something like that to create a drawing. We learned about Teddy Roosevelt, so she did teddy bear. Then she has a quick writing prompt for, this one was Teddy Roosevelt, because that's what we were learning in history. Then this was oral exercises. Then kinds of sentences. This was her grammar focus. And Friday, I dictated Teddy Roosevelt's inaugural address, the section she copied, and she wrote it from memory. And I will let her study that and look at it. And then we're on to week 2. And so My Shadow by Robert Louis Stevenson was her poetry recitation for the first 4 weeks. So, you know, she copied that. And I'm just gonna, she used like a shadow activity she had a little toy dinosaur and made his shadow really big on here. So I'm just gonna briefly go through the first few weeks of this to kind of give you an understanding of what the language arts would look like. Wright brothers. Again, she was circling things for her grammar exercises here. Statue of Liberty. So like this is an exercise she had to do a writing prompt. You are an immigrant child sailing into Ellis Island. Describe your thoughts and feelings. And she wrote, people have told me America's streets are paved with gold, but I see no gold on Ellis Island. I think she's supposed to say, I see people like me, people that are scared, people that just want to go home. Oh, why can't we just go back to Italy? So she's supposed to be writing from like the perspective of a child. We have nouns. Grammar focus, you'll see that's where Grammarland starts here with chapter 1. Then she had dictation, another week of copy work. This is about the Titanic this week. And she drew the Titanic, and she had to do a newspaper article. We actually had a really busy week, so we skipped dictation on week 5. Week 6 was personal letters of a driver at the front, 1916. That would be World War I. And again, like World War I soldier, she had to learn about the parts of a letter, and then she wrote a letter like she was writing home. Pronouns, more dictation. Week 7, she's copying Friends by Abby Farwell Brown. That's her current poem for recitation and spelling words. And we have not done our composition for this week yet. This is where we are. And she had to draw, our dog was chasing a squirrel in the backyard. So that's what she wrote from nature that she loved. Or drew from nature that she loves. So that's A Gentle Feast in a nutshell. It's really, if you order the main, 3 components, it's going to look like this. But there are dozens of books you would need to procure separate from that, and also a math program and things like that. There's a place for it in the schedule, and obviously we schedule that in each day, but I just wanted to give you like an option if you're looking for something that's Charlotte Mason and you don't really want to use something like Ambleside Online. I have used them in the past and I like them, but it can be intimidating. This is like everything, and you can add or take away whatever you want from this. And I think it's laid out so well that it's made our days really smooth and easy. So I hope this video was helpful for you, just to get an overview of A Gentle Feast. And I plan on doing some more in-depth videos of the different subjects and how we're covering them in the future. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and thank you for following. Don't forget to ding that bell.